Technical tips to get the best out of your camera. How to clean your lens. Any dust or grease on your lens will not immediately be noticeable through the viewfinder. As soon as strong light hits the lens, however, the effect is disastrous. Clean your lens every time before you shoot. Blow off any dust gently, breathe over the lens, then gently polish with a soft lens cloth in a circular motion. Check visually that it's clean. How to level your camera electronically. The G12 has an electronic level function that is easy to use and very effective. First, you need to calibrate the level. Put your camera on the tripod and make it as level as possible. Position yourself somewhere you can see some kind of visual guide to a horizontal or vertical plane. The sea is the obvious one, but if not, a tall building will suffice so long as it is truly vertical. Turn the camera on and press the DISP button. Using the grid lines, line up the camera so that it is level against your horizontal or vertical reference point. Now press the menu button. Scroll to Tools. Scroll down to Electronic Level. Press Function Set. Now press Function Set for Calibrate. If you are sure the camera is level, press OK and the camera calibrates the electronic level. Now when you shoot, press the DISP button and the level appears with the grid lines on your screen. When the cursor is green, the camera is level. How to use manual exposure. Auto exposure on your camera can be tricked by backlight, strong points of light, or by changing light and shade from the sun and clouds. You can override this auto exposure and set the exposure manually in order to get the right exposure for the scene you are shooting. Set your camera up and frame the shot. Press the star button on the back of the camera. Now using the function set wheel, scroll to set the exposure as you need it. The exposure is now locked, no matter where you move the camera or how the light changes. This is a very useful function and often indispensable when shooting backlit scenes, interiors with strong exterior light, or when light values are changing constantly. How to improve sound recording. The biggest issue with sound is when you're in the open air and there is wind. This will produce much interference. Using a muffler. A professional video microphone used externally always has some kind of windshield, but with small consumer cameras like the G12, the options are limited, so improvisation is called for. If you have to shoot outdoors and you want the sound to be captured, you will get interference even from a light breeze. Use a fairly thick sock and pull it over the top of the camera, just enough to ensure the two microphone holes are covered. Be sure the sock doesn't get in front of the lens. This can greatly improve recording quality in windy conditions. Testing, testing. Welcome to my destination. Welcome to Marbella. The sock. Testing, testing. Welcome to my destination. Welcome to Marbella. How to use your tripod as a monopod. Using handheld camera is always liable to give less impressive footage than a tripod. However, there are times when the presence of people and crowds, or working in a very confined space, means that a tripod is impossible to set up. To ensure a much steadier image, you can still use your tripod as a monopod. In this technique, you drop one leg to the floor to the height you require and rest the camera on the one leg. You can move the camera easily and quickly, but get a very steady shot by simply using the one leg as support while holding the camera steady. So if shooting in difficult spaces or where it is dangerous to put out the legs of the tripod, use the monopod technique. How to disable the digital zoom. When shooting long shots using the zoom function, the normal settings include a digital zoom function. However, for video, this results in a serious deterioration in image quality. It is far more practical to have it permanently disabled in video mode. Press the menu button and on the camera settings, scroll to Digital Zoom and select Off. Now you will only zoom to the extent of the optical lens capacity, which maintains high quality. Happy shooting!